I spent over £100,000 to get educated. Was it worth it? Let's find out. So £100,000, yes, it's a crazy amount of money. And to be honest, I didn't even have the money when I first got into education. So this money was spread over basically 2 to 3 years. But my first year, I spent £40,000 on my education. And I'm going to go through the 10 things that I sort of took away from investing this sort of money into myself. So the first one was the light bulbs came on. And what I mean by that is, when I was listening to the trainers on stage, they were telling me about trading time for money. I'd never even really thought about trading my time for money. You know, and time's our most precious commodity. And you're using your time to earn money. And therefore, because you have a limited amount of time, you therefore can only have a limited amount of money you can earn. And look, money gives us options. You know, this is another sort of light bulb moment that, you know, we go to work and we earn money, but we never really question about what the money is for. We just think about paying bills and stuff like that. But, you know, money gives you options, and money makes you more of who you are. So, you know, if you're a giving person, you're going to give more away. If you're a drug addict, you're probably going to just take more drugs. So yeah, money just makes you more of who you are. Another big one was you are the 5 people you hang around with. So that made me really think differently about who I was hanging around with, where I was spending my time, the conversations I was having, the advice, who I was getting my advice from, because there's no shortage of people down the pub that know it all. You know, free advice is worth every penny, as my mentor told me. And it's true, you know, so lots of light bulb moments come on. And this really woke me up to where I currently was and where I could be in the future. Sorry to interrupt this video, but what difference would £100,000 make to your life right now? Every single build we do, we make £100,000 profit. And more importantly, you can also. Want to know how? Go into the comments, click on the how to get started in property development, thank me later. Let's get back to the video. So basically, yeah, this really like slammed the brakes on. The light bulb moments came on, and it made me open my eyes like really wide to what's possible out there. And look, I nearly never went to this event. This was a free event. It was a 3-day event about property, multiple streams of income, and I nearly never took the day off work because I was busy. You know, I was busy with work. I could have done without taking the time off. I was going to lose a day's wages. So again, I was looking at the cost, very small-minded thinking. But yeah, I took the day off. I spent the weekend in there, and it was a nice sunny weekend actually. And there's nothing worse than being stuck indoors when it's nice and sunny. That's why I like the outdoors, like where I am now. But it made me realise lots of different things that I was just unaware of, and to hear it from some very successful people really opened my eyes. And you know, I guess that was another one, you know, multiple streams of income. If you've just got one stream of income, you're playing with fire, because, you know, like me, I'm a bricklayer by trade, and let's say I fell off a scaffold and broke my arm, and I did fall off 3 scaffolds in 1 year, so it just shows how it can happen. But you know, if you break your arm and you can't work, you've lost your stream of income. That's it. That's dangerous. That's stressful. And I think that's why most people keep working. So, you know, you are the 5 people you hang around with. The more you learn, the more you earn. So that was the other thing. And yeah, getting multiple streams of income. I've now got 18 streams of income. Some of those passive, some of those come in while I'm asleep. So they'll trickle in 24 hours a day. Some of those, yeah, I still use a bit of my time, but I get to choose when I use that time, and I get to enjoy that time that I do spend using it to earn money with the right people. So yeah, I've gone from 1 stream to 18 streams of income, and that's just number 1. So was it worth the money? It certainly was in that case. Okay, so number 2. Number 2 was more about the educational part. And you know, you don't know what you don't know. That's the first thing. But I learned that the only thing that's stopping you becoming a millionaire is you don't know how to become a millionaire. And what I mean by that is it's a lack of knowledge. Okay, so once you learn how to become a millionaire, and there are lots of proven ways to do this, success leaves clues, there's no 2 ways about it. People have been there and done it before you. And that is the only thing that is stopping you becoming a millionaire. So one, it's not knowing how to do it, but two, then obviously you've got to put the action in, you know, put the work in, take the action and make it happen. But success leaves clues. The education is there. You can learn this. You can learn it in whatever you're passionate about. So for me, it's property development and helping people become their own developer. And yeah, look, you know, once you learn this stuff, you can't unlearn it. And education, I thought it stopped at school. I failed at school miserably. I didn't enjoy school. I never even went half the time. And when I did, I just used to sign on the register, get on my mate's BMX, and we'd go down the brickyards and ride motorbikes all the time, which was a lot more fun than studying Romeo and Juliet and algebra and stuff like that. So education is the thing that's the difference between you becoming a millionaire. And yeah, that was it. It just clicked for me. I was like, yeah, do you know what? That's right. Because I don't know how to become a millionaire. I'm missing this information. I'm missing this knowledge. And I need to learn from the people that have been there and done it. And I learn from them. And if I copy them, then I should get the same results. Number 3, I picked the wrong strategy. And education and mentoring made me realise this, that although I enjoyed the bricklaying, it was never going to get me where I wanted to be. So I used property as a vehicle. So I did like buy-to-lets, HMOs, some flips and some refurbs, sold some deals on, and I made a few quid. I did all right, replaced my income pretty quick, but I soon realised that it was not my passion. It was only ever going to give me small amounts of money, little bits of cash flow, whereas I wanted big chunky money, life-changing money that could buy me a lot of time back. And that's why I chose property development. You know, you go and make £500,000 or £600,000 on a deal, you can spend a lot of time out here on a bike on that amount of money, which is what I choose to do. So I identified that I was doing the wrong strategy. I got into another strategy, like I said, property, realised that that wasn't going to get me where I wanted to be. Then I identified property development. It's what I'd always done for other developers. They were the ones earning the money. It ticked my boxes. It allowed me to work so many months a year. It allowed me to earn the big money. It allowed me to leverage and get other people doing the work while I choose to do what I want to do, like this sort of stuff. And yeah, understanding the strategy. And most of us get into a job, a career, or start a business without really understanding the strategy. And before you know it, 10, 20, 30, 40 years of struggle has gone by. And it's like, oh, well, if I'd have just done that, I could have got a different result. And again, it goes back to my previous point of success leaves clues. You know, if I look at all the other trades on site who are laying bricks and plastering and doing that sort of stuff, you know, by the time they get into like their 50s, if they live to their 60s and 60s, they're knackered. Their bodies have gone, you know, and I didn't want that to be me. Whereas I looked at the developers driving around in their nice cars, you know, earning life-changing sums of money. They're not the ones out there laying the bricks in the cold and the wet and the rain with a backache. And I was like, yeah, do you know what? That is the strategy that I need to follow. And that's why I chose it. You know, and again, it took me to be educated and mentored to figure this stuff out. And, you know, it might sound obvious that, well, that's obvious that that's what developers do. But sometimes you just need it explained to you in layman's terms that what you're doing is not going to get you where you want to be. It's not going to earn you the money you want to do, you know, the money you want, and you need that person to, you know, make you understand there's a different way, and the way to do it, and it's possible. So yeah, you know, that's been life-changing for me, just from this point alone. Number 4 was picking a mentor who had been there and done what I wanted to achieve. And I realised that you could spend years trying to figure this stuff out yourself, years making mistakes, years spending loads and loads of money, or you could fast track it and go to someone that's been there and done it, made the mistakes, got years of experience, and but just basically learn it the quick way. And you know, look, I've earned more and done more in the last 5 years than probably what I did in the first 30. So you know, that is proof that having a mentor works. It certainly worked for me, and at the end of the day, look, you've got to put the work in. The mentor can only guide you and advise you and keep you accountable. And I think that's one of the biggest things as well, you know, having a mentor to keep you accountable, because lots of people say have a gym membership and they don't go, they can't be bothered, they've just got a membership so they feel like they're going to keep fit. But you imagine having a personal trainer, like a mentor like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do you think you're going to miss turning up for a session? You're not. Yeah, and also if you're paying like £25,000-30,000 a year for a mentor, you know, those sessions can cost you like £2,000 a session. Obviously you've got the accountability throughout the month, but you're not going to miss a session for £2,000, are you? You've got to be kept accountable for your actions, and your actions is what's going to get you results. So yeah, having a mentor just fast-tracked me the way to everything. You know, I could run things by them before I made the decisions. So there was like a sound off board. They would often come to me with scenarios. So I would say, well, look, you know, I want to achieve this. And they say, well, look, if you do it this way, you could probably get that. And if you do it that way, you can probably get this. And then you can make an informed decision. And it's a bit like having a sat nav. You know, if you want to get from destination A, you want to get to destination B, it means that you can just get there as quick as possible. It means you don't have to zigzag all over the place and go back on yourself and off in the wrong direction. So a mentor's been there for me to handhold me every step of the way. I still have mentors today. So even though I've been having mentors for now 9-10 years nearly, I still pay £30,000-40,000 for a couple of mentors. I can get that money back within 1 or 2 bits of information. And yeah, they're there with me through, you know, throughout the whole of the year. So definitely a good return on investment from what I've spent so far. Number 5, think bigger. So education and mentoring allowed me to think a lot bigger than what I normally would on my own. You know, we're taught to play it safe, not to take risks, just to really just get through life, you know, work 50 years of your life, have your retirement, pay your pensions, pay your taxes, you know, get trapped in the system. And education and mentoring made me realise that there's different ways to do stuff, and you know, the wealthy don't go down that route of, you know, work Monday to Friday, 40 hours a week, have 4 weeks holiday a year, bank holidays off. You know, they pretty much create 7 days of life, and they think a lot bigger. And you know, one thing I was taught was, if you think big all the time, and even if you fail or fall short, you're still most likely going to be way bigger. You know, your business is going to be way bigger, your bank balance will be bigger, everything will be in abundance a lot more. It's going to be a lot bigger than if you just sort of play it small. So same with achieving your goals. You know, set big goals, goals that stretch you. I mean, I'm here in Chamonix, Mont Blanc's behind me. I've climbed that a couple of times on my own. You know, I've climbed some of the highest mountains in the world, all from thinking bigger, you know. And obviously it starts off by doing smaller stuff and progressing up so that you don't make too big a mistake. But you've got to have big things, you've got to have things that stretch you. You've got to think bigger than where you are currently to be able to get to that next level. And mentors and education have made me realise that it's possible. You know, if you think you can or you can't, you're absolutely right. So you've got to think bigger. And if you believe that you can achieve stuff, and you know, you're hanging around people that have been there and done it, who will share this advice. You know, that's the difference between some of the people you hang around with. Some of those people won't want to see you succeed. Some of the successful people will see you want to succeed, and they'll share that advice and give you help and put you in touch with their contacts. And you know, thinking bigger will get bigger results, and it will get you there a lot faster as well. Number 6, limiting beliefs, which leads on from the last point really, where about thinking big. You know, you are where you are because of your mindset, the way you think, the way you limit yourself. And the UK is not the best for, you know, bringing people up with ambition and goals. I mean, America's a little bit different. They've definitely celebrate success, whereas in the UK it's sort of frowned upon a little bit, where it's just not fair. You know, we are brought up to be very average. So yeah, limiting beliefs. My mentor, you know, taught me that I can do anything I really want to do, providing I've got the right plan, the right strategy, and I take the action. And that's been proven. You know, I've succeeded in many different areas. And I'll give you an example of limiting beliefs. So I signed up for the Marathon des Sables a few years ago, toughest foot race on earth. 250 kilometers across the Sahara Desert, and the only thing you get over the 6 days is water. The longest day is about 60 miles, 50 plus degree heat. You've got to be self-sufficient, so you've got to take all your own food, etc. And the only training I did for that event was one park run. So 1 3-mile run. It took me about 45 minutes. And that was it. I didn't really do any other training apart from that, and it just came down to mindset, you know. And I just thought, well, look, other people are doing it, so why can't I? It's just one foot in front of the other, so as long as I keep going. I was at a pain threshold of about 9 out of 10 with my feet, and I just thought, well, look, as long as it doesn't get any worse than 9 or 9.5, then yeah, I can put one more foot in front of the other and I can keep going. And some of those athletes, you know, some of these are the fittest people on the planet. Some of these people were just dropping like flies. They was on drips in the dunes because it was so hot. They would just didn't have the mindset, the belief that they could complete it because it was so hard, so they gave up. But for me, it was a done deal. I went there with the medal in sight. The accomplishment was to finish the race, which I did. And to prove that wasn't a fluke, I went and did it the year after with my son in Jordan. So another multi-stage run across the desert. And I'm doing it again this year in Nevada in October. And some of the stuff I've helped my mentees with and people I've trained and taught and got them good results. One of my mentees is actually joining me on the basis that he says, well, look, if you can do it, so can I. And I'm going to prove myself that I can break through these limiting beliefs and that anything is possible. And again, I think once you do something like that, then you realise that it's only you that is in your own way. It's only you that's stopping you getting to where you want to be in life. So, you know, now my mindset and my beliefs are that anything's possible. You can have whatever you want. You can do or have whatever you want. You just got to go out there and put the work in and not let yourself get in the way. You know, we've all got that little voice on our shoulders telling us that we can't do it, and who do you think you are, and what do you know, and oh, it's tough and it's hard. There's a good book actually called The Chimp Paradox by Dr. Steve Peters, and that talks about the little voice in our head, little demon that sort of tells us that it's not possible and it's tough and to give in and pack up and stuff like that, and you can control it. So we all have a little chimp. So it's a good book, I do recommend that one, and it really helps if you're struggling with limiting beliefs, I guess. Sorry to interrupt the video, but look, if you want to get results like this from building stuff like that, make sure you subscribe, because I've got loads of videos from ordinary people just like me and you getting extraordinary results doing property developments. Number 7, Einstein said it perfectly. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. And myself, like many others, we keep doing the same thing. We go to work on a Monday, we finish on a Friday, we put the same hours in and we do the same work and we charge the same rates, and yet we expect or we hope for a different result. And it's just not going to happen. So in order to get something different, you've got to do something different. And that's got to be something you've probably never done before, or it's probably got to be something additional to what you're currently doing. And Jim Rohn, I'm a big Jim Rohn fan, he says it perfectly. If you don't change what you're doing today, then tomorrow will look like your yesterday. So whatever you was doing yesterday at work, that's going to be exactly the same tomorrow if you don't change what you do today. So you've got to do something different. It doesn't have to be drastic, it just has to be small steps. Sky team, they won their Tour de France through lots of 1% gains. So how can we improve everything by 1%? How can we save 1% more money? How can we reduce our overheads 1%? How can I get 1% more customers? So the 1% rule is really, really good. And as much as it seems like really, really tiny little things, they can compound up into big results. But yeah, you've got to question it, you know, have a look at what you're doing today. Is that exactly the same as what you was doing last year, year before, 2 years ago, 5 years, 10 years? You know, and if you don't change what you're going to be doing, then you're going to get the same results in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So do something different, take action, and you will get a different result. Number 8, I started learning and educating myself in many different ways. So I went to free seminars. They were good, obviously a big sales pitch, but you're going to take some good things away from those events. And like I say, my journey really started from a 3 days event. Then you've got paid courses, so they're really good. Again, what I look at is if you can learn just one thing from that course that changes everything in your business or your personal life or whatever, then it's worth it. You know, a lot of these courses are 1,500 quid or whatever for 3 days. So, you know, it might sound like a lot of money, but as long as you try learning from the right person and the right information on the right strategy, then yeah, it can be well worth the money. We used to teach live events, 3-day events, Property Developers Blueprint in person. Loads and loads of people came through that. It was me teaching, so we had loads of success stories from that. Loads of case studies videos on our YouTube channel. And that was really great. We've now pivoted to online. We just feel it's more accessible. So people like to learn online. And I myself still buy online courses. Again, it's self-paced learning. You can get instant access. You can watch it as many times as you want. It's lower cost. So there's a lot more benefits. Then you've got books. You know, again, I've written a book, Property Developers Blueprint. Audible. So a friend bought me an Audible years ago. Normally, I think on Audible you can go and give one to a friend as a gift who's not on Audible. So it's a very good strategy from Amazon. But it got me hooked, and I mean, I'm out on my bike today, but whenever I'm hiking or in the gym, walking, I will listen to Audible. If I'm in the van, driving somewhere, or in the cars, I always listen to Audible. So I'm always educating myself. On YouTube, I watch a lot of YouTube. Don't even watch TV anymore. TV is just rubbish. There's nothing on. It's full of repeats. It's not good for your brain, it's not good for your mind, so it's just a load of rubbish. The news is a load of rubbish as well. So at least with things like YouTube, like this channel, you can pick what you want to learn about, pick what you want to watch, pick what entertains you, and you can feed your brain with the right stuff. So ever since I got educated, I've never stopped learning, and you know, a lot of this stuff's free or very, very cheap, very, very low entry. There's PDFs that people give away. We give a PDF on how to get started in property development. There's normally a link in the description to get that. You know, so there's lots of ways to learn for free, very, very cheaply, to get you started and move you forward to where you want to be on your goals. Number 9, and this was probably one of my favorites. Education and mentoring taught me how to create a plan. So having a plan allowed me to think about the future, put things in place for the future, put plans in place for the future, map out the process and the steps to get there, made me work out what I wanted, when I wanted it, how I was going to get it. But it allowed me to see into the future, and I'm a firm believer of whatever you do today pays you out in the future. So you know, the future is great because most people are just living in the current, and even worse, some people are just living in the past. You know, that's even worse if you're hanging on to old baggage and trauma and, you know, like let's say a customer ripped you off and you're just afraid to work for customers again or ask them for extras and stuff like this. So you've got to think about the future because the future keeps you going. And like I'm out here for a month in the Alps, and this is always blocked out in my diary in a year in advance. So compartmentalisation your diary. Block out all your time that you want to do, where you want to travel, when you want to travel there, how much it's going to cost, how you're going to get there, where you're going to stay. And that's been a massive shift in me being able to do 10 times more than what I used to do, probably 20 times more actually. So we block out 6 months a year in our diary for travel. But it's allowed me to get things like my Lamborghini, my villa, like I say, the thinking bigger, the thinking into the future, why you're working, what you're working on, is the strategy going to get you there? But having a plan of action has been a game changer. So I first put my plan of action together on my on a retreat. So that's where you map out like your 1, 3 and 5 year plans. We still live by that process. I've helped a lot of people come through the retreats that we've run and help them really shift from where they are to where they want to be in the next few years. And some of them have set up businesses, multi-six figures in the first, you know, less than a year. We've helped many people getting into developments, grow their construction businesses, come off the tools, and all these things form part of your plan. And unless you really understand what you want to do and where you want to go and when you want to get there, you're just really going to drift day to day and month to month and keep busy. And you know, my mentor said to me, look, if you don't control your diary and block it out for yourself and what you want to do, then you're going to be spending the rest of your life working for people who are going to block their time out for you to go into their diary so that they can go and do what they want to do. So it's very important for you to block out your own time first, put your own plans in place first, and then everything else will fit around it. And number 10 is to never stop learning. So education taught me never to stop learning, because the world is an ever evolving place. It's a rapidly evolving place. AI is coming in rapidly. It's here, should I say, and it's coming rapidly. We've got robo-taxis coming, which have already just been launched. We've got the robots that are going to be taking over so many jobs in the future, like so many jobs. AI and robots are the future. They don't take holidays, they don't have sick pay, they don't need pensions. They work 24 hours a day. So we know it's coming. We've seen it on TV. We know it's coming. We've seen it on social media. We know it's coming. So if we don't do something about where our current position is today, then we will get left behind. And that bridge between, or the gap between, say, rich and poor is getting wider all the time. You know, average is the new poor now. And some of you guys who are watching this channel, watching this video right now, you know, probably been earning 50, 60, 70 grand a year, which is a good salary, but it no longer cuts it. You know, that is just, it's a lot of money, but it just keeps you above average at the minute if you're lucky. The tax system is against us, so you've got to make this break now. Elon Musk says you've got like less than 10 years to make your money. After that, it's going to almost be impossible to become rich for most people. But at the minute, it's attainable for many. So, you know, with AI and the robots coming, you've got to do something about it now. It's just, what are you going to do about it? You know, how are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? What action steps are you going to take? You know, what's your business plan? So all these questions you probably haven't even asked yourself at the moment, but you've got to take time out, think about where you want to be, and do something about it, because no one's going to come and save you and offer it to you on a plate. So me being away here for the month allows me to think about where I'm in business, where I'm in life, what do I need to improve, what things do I want to do more of, what things do I want to do less of, what do I enjoy, what don't I enjoy anymore, and make those changes and put them into the plan. So the plan always evolves, by the way. It's never just a set and forget. Some of it is, some of it evolves as we go through the years, because each year as you're growing, things change anyway. And like I say, the world's evolving at a rapid pace. So what you put into your plan now for the next 3 years could change overnight through technology or legislation, or just the way the government decides to do things like shut the country down, which it's done before. So you never know what's around the corner. But look, these 10 things have transformed everything I do in personal and business life. Would I spend it again? Look, I would spend 10 times that amount. I just wish I'd spent it sooner. I just remember, you know, 17, 18 years ago, I walked away from someone trying to sell me a course because I just thought I could do it on my own. 8 years later, I came back and it allowed me to become a multimillionaire. So the reality is, it cost me millions from lost opportunity. And if I could have done it on my own, I would have done it by now. That's the reality. You know, we can only get so far with our mindset, our limiting beliefs. And it is a no-brainer that some of the best money you can ever invest is in yourself, and to work with people that have been there and done what you want to do, who can get you there quicker without making the mistakes. And look, you know, anybody can have an exceptional life and have everything they want. They've just got to go out there and do it, and it is possible, because success leaves clues. There's lots of people that are doing it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you want me to talk about anything that I've covered in this video in more detail, or cover anything that I've not covered in this video, then let me know in the comments. More than happy to do videos to help you guys break free from where you're probably stuck in business and life, where you want to break free into property developments. Then let me know in the comments below. And yeah, we'll see you on the next video soon.